Good morning, dear students. Today we will discuss about the second chapter of history, that is Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. This is the second lecture on this topic. In a previous lecture I told you about how after French Revolution the three words came into existence, that is liberty, equality and freedom. How the rest of Europe, they wanted to change their society, they wanted to transform their society and establish those three words, liberty, equality and freedom. For that they adopted various methods, अलग अलग मेथड्स अपनाए थे, and among those methods the liberals were there, the radicals were there and the conservatives were also there. Now we will discuss the meaning of liberals, radicals and conservative. So what do we mean by liberals? Liberals means the group of people, those who believe in similar ideology or philosophy, जो सेम आइडियोलॉजी और फिलोसॉफी में बिलीव करते थे, ऐसे एक ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल. तो वो कौन सी फिलोसॉफी और आइडियोलॉजी में बिलीव करते थे? अकॉर्डिंग टू देम कि सोसाइटी शुड बी टॉलरेंट फॉर ऑफ ऑल द रिलीजियंस. सोसाइटी में सभी रिलीजियन का इक्वलिटी होनी चाहिए. ऑल द रिलीजियंस should be treated equally in the society. No religion, the people of no religion could be discriminated. किसी के साथ discrimination नहीं होना चाहिए on the basis of religion. क्योंकि उस टाइम जो यूरोपियन स्टेट्स होते थे, they usually discriminated one religion or another. जैसे कि ब्रिटेन क्या फेवर करते थे? ब्रिटेन फेवर द चर्च ऑफ इंग्लैंड एंड ऑस्ट्रिया. स्पेन फेवर करते थे कैथोलिक चर्चेस को. सो द लिबरल्स दे वांटेड अ नेशन विच टॉलरेटेड ऑल रिलीजन, जिसमें कोई भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होगा ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिलीजन. सेकेंड, वो क्या चाहते थे? दे वर अगेंस्ट द अनकंट्रोल्ड पावर ऑफ किंग्स और मोनार्क. जो लिबरल्स थे वो चाहते थे कि मोनार्क या किंग ना हो, उसकी जगह पे एक इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट, इलेक्टेड पार्लियामेंट्री गवर्नमेंट हो, एंड पीपल शुड इलेक्ट देयर गवर्नमेंट. एंड नॉट ओनली दैट, दे वांटेड टू सेफगार्ड द राइट्स ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स ऑल्सो. वो इंडिविजुअल की राइट अगेंस्ट गवर्नमेंट को भी सेफगार्ड करना चाहते थे. And for that they wanted three parallel organs of the government, like legislature, judiciary and executive. And they wanted all these organs should be independent on each other. They should not be dependent on any other things, and the judiciary should be a well-trained judiciary so that it can interpret the law properly. सो उनके हिसाब से लेजिस्लेचर, एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड जुडिशियरी होना चाहिए, और जुडिशियरी भी वेल ट्रेन, जो कि लॉज को इंटरप्रेट कर सकते हैं. बट वन मोर थिंग इज दैट दे वर अगेंस्ट द यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज. यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज मीन्स दैट in the French society only the men with property, they had the right to vote. That is why the women, they were struggling. They started movement to get the right to vote, and that movement was known as women's suffragette movement. तो ये जो liberals थे, according to them, all the people irrespective of the caste, creed, gender should not have the voting right. Only the men with property, they should have the right to vote. Means they were against universal adult franchise. So let us see what is written here. Liberals, they wanted a nation which tolerated all religions. They were against the uncontrolled power of the dynastic rulers, means kings or monarchs. They wanted rights for individuals. They argued for an elected parliamentary government subject to laws interpreted by a well-trained judiciary that was independent of rulers and officials. They were not Democrats because they did not believe in universal adult franchise. नेक्स्ट कम्स रेडिकल्स. तो रेडिकल्स कौन थे? रेडिकल्स किस फिलोसफी और भी आइडियोलॉजी में बिलीव करते थे? रेडिकल्स के हिसाब से भी दे वर ऑल्सो अगेंस्ट द अनकंट्रोल्ड पावर ऑफ डायनास्टिक रूलर्स. किंग और मोनार्क के पावर के अगेंस्ट में थे. अकॉर्डिंग टू देम द गवर्नमेंट शुड बी फॉर्म्ड ऑन मेजॉरिटी बेसिस. मीन्स पीपल शुड इलेक्ट देयर गवर्नमेंट. And not only that, they also opposed the privileges of great landlords, then wealthy factory owners, जो भी, and they also dislike about the thing that the property should not concentrate in few hands. कुछ लोगों के हाथ में ही वेल्थ या प्रॉपर्टी नहीं होना चाहिए. तो रेडिकल्स क्या सोचते थे? रेडिकल्स uncontrolled power of dynastic rulers के against थे. According to them, there should be a parliamentary form of government and the leaders of the government should be elected by the people, and they also oppose the privileges of great landlords and the wealthy factory owners, and not only that, they also against the concentration of private property. But one thing was there, many of the radicals, they supported women's suffragette movement. जो women वोटिंग राइट्स के लिए मूवमेंट कर रहे थे, लड़ाई लड़ रहे थे, many radicals they supported them. So this was the difference between the radicals and the liberals. Radicals, many of them they supported women's suffragette movement, but the liberals they were against the women's suffragette movement, and because that is why they were against the universal adult franchise. Now next was conservatives. So who were conservatives? Conservatives means rigid people, those who don't want to change anything. इसलिए conservatives initially they did not accept the change. They did not accept the social transformation. उनको लगता था सोसाइटी जैसी भी है वो ठीक है, इसमें कोई भी चेंजेस की जरूरत नहीं है. That is why they opposed initially. They opposed radicals and liberals. But after French Revolution के बाद धीरे conservatives they also started thinking about the change in the society. There should be a change in the society, there should be a transform in the society, but उनका एक कंडीशन भी था, ये जो चेंज है, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है, it should not be all of a sudden. The change should be very slow, very gradual. And not only the change should be very slow and very gradual, there should be a link. जो हमारे पास्ट है, देन हिस्ट्री है, ट्रेडिशन है, उसको छोड़ के हम बिल्कुल कट ऑफ करके हम चेंज नहीं ला सकते हैं. अगर हमें चेंज लाना ही है तो एवरी टाइम वी शुड कीप इन माइंड अबाउट आवर पास्ट, अबाउट आवर हिस्ट्री एंड about our tradition. So keeping in mind about all these things, a society can be changed. ये conservatives का मानना था. And the conservatives also, they also started thinking about that line, that they accepted that change was inevitable, but believed that past had to be respected and change had to be brought about through a slow process. That is what about the philosophy, about the ideology of liberals, radicals and conservatives. तो पेपर में ये भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, write a short note on radicals, short notes on liberals or conservatives, even if it may come that compare between the ideology, among the ideologies of radicals, conservatives and liberals. Now next topic है industrial society and social change. What do we mean by industrial society and social change का मतलब क्या है? Industrial society means 18th century में industrial revolution was there in England. England में industrial revolution हुआ था. Industrial revolution का मतलब है to come up new cities, new towns, to come up new factories and industries. सारे न्यू फैक्ट्रीज एस्टेब्लिश हुए थे एंड नॉट ओनली इन इंग्लैंड. आफ्टर द इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन इन इंग्लैंड थ्रू द होल यूरोप में इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन की शुरुआत हो गई थी एंड सभी यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में न्यू फैक्ट्रीज न्यू इंडस्ट्रीज का एस्टेब्लिशमेंट हुआ था. तो न्यू फैक्ट्रीज जब न्यू इंडस्ट्रीज का एस्टेब्लिशमेंट हुआ था उसके बाद रेलवे का भी एक्सपैंड हुआ था. तो सिटीज में टाउन्स में न्यू जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी क्रिएट हुआ था. दैट इज व्हाई दैट टाइम अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट वाज आल्सो अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम. पॉवर्टी, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, पीपल दे डिडंट हैव वर्क, they didn't have money, so the people of the village they started migrating from village to town. धीरे धीरे in search of job के लिए वो विलेज में से टाउन में शहरों में माइग्रेट करना शुरू कर दिया था. बट व्हाट हैपेंड, द नंबर ऑफ पीपल दे माइग्रेटेड फ्रॉम द विलेज, जितने नंबर में वो माइग्रेट हुए थे उसके हिसाब से शहरों में टाउन्स में वर्क वाज लेस. So demand of work was high, but the supply of work was very less. इसलिए काम मिलना इतना आसान भी नहीं था. It was not like that the people they migrated from village to town and immediately they got a job in the factories. For that they sometimes they had to wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and during that time their condition was very bad. Because they didn't have any shelter to stay. रहने के लिए जगह नहीं होता था उनके पास, खाने के लिए पैसे नहीं होते थे. But after some time when they got job, so this was the positive aspect, because after industrialization, irrespective of men, women, children, they started getting job in the industries. This is a positive aspect. But to get the job, they had to wait for a long time. During that time, their situation was also very bad. That was the negative impact. And not only that, once after getting job in the factory or in the industries, their situation was also not so good. Why? Because unfortunately, demand for work was more as compared to the supply. इसलिए जो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट होते थे, जो फैक्ट्री ओनर्स होते थे, they tried to exploit the laborers, they tried to exploit the people, those who wanted to work in their factories. क्योंकि working hours बहुत लंबे होते थे. Today the working hour is fixed at 6 hours working hours होते हैं, but उस time 12 hours, 15 hours, 14 आवर्स वर्किंग आवर्स होते थे एंड उसके बदले में लोगों को बहुत कम मजदूरी वेजेस मिलता था. एंड नॉट ओनली दैट, देयर वर्किंग कंडीशन, सेफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर नहीं था, हाइजीनिक एनवायरनमेंट में वो लोग नहीं रहते थे, प्रॉपर सैनिटेशन नहीं हो पाता था, तो बहुत ज़्यादा डिजीज भी होती थी. सो दैट वाज द नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट. ये बहुत सारे लोग दे वर पासिंग थ्रू दिस सिचुएशन. But one more thing was that कि जो इंडस्ट्रीज होती थी, जो फैक्ट्रीज होती थी, मोस्टली द लिबरल्स एंड रेडिकल्स दे वर द ओनर्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज और फैक्ट्रीज. तो ये लिबरल्स एंड रेडिकल्स को क्या लगता था, इफ दे वांटेड टू अर्न प्रॉफिट, अगर प्रॉफिट कमाना है, सोसाइटी को डेवलप करना है, तो जो वर्क फोर्स है, जो फैक्ट्रीज में काम करते हैं, देयर कंडीशन शुड बी इम्प्रूव्ड फर्स्ट. अगर if their condition improved, if they are healthy, then their efficiency will increase. If their efficiency increases, they can contribute more in the production and ultimately the productivity of that industry will increase. That is why the liberals, the radicals, they tried to improve the working condition of the laborers, जो बहुत ज़्यादा miserable condition में से गुजर रहे थे. सेफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर नहीं है, सैनिटेशन, प्रॉपर सैनिटेशन नहीं है, देन हाइजेनिक एनवायरनमेंट में वो लोग अनहाइजेनिक एनवायरनमेंट में रहते थे, उनके पास वेज बहुत कम मिलता था, उसके ऊपर से लॉन्ग वर्किंग आवर्स होते थे. तो लिबरल्स एंड द रेडिकल्स दे वांटेड टू इम्प्रूव देयर सिचुएशन. इसलिए जो भी वर्किंग क्लास होते थे उस टाइम, मैन, वुमेन, चिल्ड्रेन, दे वर विद द लिबरल्स एंड रेडिकल्स. वो लिबरल्स एंड रेडिकल्स के साथ होते थे, बहुत सारा रैलीज करते थे, मीटिंग्स करते थे. वाई? टू overthrow the dynastic rulers, monarch को, then king को overthrow करने के लिए ये जो working class people थे, men, women and children, they were with the radicals and liberals and they wanted to. and तब radicals and liberals को लगता था कि they needed a revolution. Why they needed a revolution? To establish a democratic society, to establish a democratic government and to overthrow the dynastic rulers in Europe. That is, it was in 1815. That is why not only in France, Italy, Germany, Russia, they became revolutionaries and they worked to overthrow existing monarchs. And they wanted to establish, they wanted to create a nation. एक नेशन वो क्रिएट करना चाहते थे जिसमें all the citizens they would have equal right. The government should be formed by the people and it should be a democratic one. And the three organs were also there: legislature, then executive and judiciary. A judiciary should be a well-trained judiciary to interpret the constitution. So that is why throughout the Europe, the movement started throughout the Europe. So I think this much is clear to you, and if you have any problem, you can call me. Thank you and have a good day.